Blessings and good morning to all of you, my Los Angeles Third Church family. And for our first time listeners, we bless you and we welcome you. And we thank you for zooming in with us. I want to send special prayers and blessings to those that are on the prayer list. First of all, our church family. And then we extend those blessings and prayers across the land. For those that are on our bereavement, let us continue on this journey with Mind Is. And before we get into our Sunday meal today, let's do a little funny. I thought this was kind of cute. It says one day a little girl was sitting watching her mother do the dishes. She notices that her mother has several gray hairs sticking out in the contrast of her brown hair. She looks at her mom and asks, "Why are some of your hairs gray?" Her mother replies, "Well, every time you do something wrong or don't do what I ask, make me cry or unhappy, one of my hair turns gray." The little girl thought about that revelation. And then she asked her mom, "Then how come all of grandma's hairs are gray?" We continue this journey of Mind Is, and then we dive into our textbook, the introduction of this teaching. Number 4, how to use it. The power of it, the use of it, and the reason for it, mind. We have talked about the layers of mind, the first layer being our conscious mind, our awareness of who, what, where. And then that second layer, the subconscious, the why, the underlining belief of each of us, the reason we trust some things and not others, the reason we believe in some things and not others, the reason we have faith or not. Let's talk about the third layer, that super consciousness, that place within that rises above the confining influences of people, places, circumstances, time, or space. In our super consciousness, that God consciousness, we must expect each new day to bring greater. And I say we must, but we don't have to, we should. The reason we come together on Sundays and all across the land, and for some other days, and then during the week, the different messages and voices that we hear, we continue on this journey to get to that place where the outer is not more effective than the inner. For we are made in the image and likeness of a deity, a magnificence, a power, our Lord, our God, our Creator, our Father, our everything. And so we should see and know that this is not a race, it is not a marathon, nor is it a sprint. This is a journey, an earth walk, a spiritual unfoldment with every thought, every step, every action. We should be unfolding greater good. In all aspects of living, not existing, but living. The super consciousness knows the best is yet to come. So when we allow ourselves to dive deeper, we will know that even where we are right now in our lives, some is great, some is good, some is not so good, some feel like they're in hell. But when we sit and meditate and pray and vision and drop down to that place where all our good is, where our blessings are, we will know the best is yet to come. Our reach should exceed our grasp. Our vision should exceed what the human think is possible. The superconsciousness emerges as us when we train our conscious mind and till the subconscious mind. Just as we till the soil of our garden, just as a farmer tills the soil of the land, to mix it up, to bring about the new, to refresh it, so should we do that subconsciousness, that we may reveal the true self, our spiritual beingness. We should appreciate our journey to this point. We are still here. We still have opportunities, but we should never be satisfied with what we have experienced thus far. For God is new every morning. Let us keep expecting that our future holds more joys and blessings than our yesterdays have given. Have a conviction that it is never too late to be a life changer. We should sincerely expect right things to unfold. Mind is to decree a thing and then watch it come into the visible. Philippians 12:13 says, work out your own salvation. The potential powers are within, but we must utilize them to express them outwardly. Health, vitality, all the things that we desire, peace and abundance. John 13:17 says, if ye know these things, happy are you if you do them. Let us not hesitate any longer to command our needs, dreams, and desires. The song says, till you want no more. For everyone asking and believing receives. That is the law. That is the way that God designed it. In truth, no family, friend, or organization can give us health or supply our needs. For when they do it, it's temporary. That's why a lot of people come back. When we do for them, they keep coming back because it's a temporary. Mind is that through that all things come, unfold, and manifest. Our belief and our expectation speeds the process. See, when we stop and mull over, if it can happen, we delay it. But if we worship, if we praise, if we give thanks, even before it allows it to come to us. It kind of reminds me of going to the post office. When you want something to get there overnight, you pay a little bit more. When you want it to get there in 2 days or 3, you pay a little bit less. And when you don't care when it comes, you pay the minimal. But when we can praise God every day, all day, we speed up the process of health, of supply, of unity, of love. God created a universal law that takes care of our requirements. Yes, through people. Yes, through channels. Our first layer, that conscious mind, it may not tap into it. And then the second layer may not accept. For the more we depend on others, the less we acknowledge the life and power that's within. Seek and you will find. Our seeking is an investigation, to explore, to look. When we diligently seek information, we find it. Only according to our mental equivalent and our receptivity. When we depend and drive our limited human mind, that first layer, it can become exhausting, which may cause us to nurse that second layer, that subconscious, which is where our memories, judgments, fears, criticisms, hurts, race suggestion, on and on. It's also where the greatness of our personal journeys resides. That subconscious, that second layer, is where everything that has happened. And if we don't till it, get out the weeds and refresh it, those hurts and fears and judgments and criticisms will rise up at every challenge. So it's really important that we till that second layer to learn and grow from our earth walk. If we are truly looking for something in life great and new, we are told not to tear our mind to pieces, which is our worry and our doubt. We are told to rest the mind and believe that whatever it is on its way, and it will reach us when we are ready. So just because we want a healing, just because we want more resources, just because we want a companion, just because we want the world to get over this, wanting is not enough. We must sit on the egg of truth until it hatches. Pray without ceasing. Our blessings, desires, and dreams are just that, ours. No one and nothing can take what God has for us. The only thing is our blocking it because of fears, criticism, judgment, and worry. So our messages every week, the messages during the week, is to eliminate the weeds that block the flowers from growing. The easiest way to get all the good things of God is to allow our indwelling God to bring them, or at the very least, allow the inspiration of the indwelling God as to the how. What we believe and vision is what will unfold. Let us trust the creative process. Trust the law. We do our best in our creative work when our mind is at peace and in tune with that super consciousness, that third deep layer, that animating power. As long as we keep in mind that we always are receiving love and support from our Father, who art in heaven, holy is thy name, we will know without doubt we can accomplish anything. Mosendar said this: it reminds us that the human aspect of the divine has the prerogative to choose between the right and the wrong paths, because it is so in the inherent creative plan. If it were not so, man could not choose. The fundamental principle does not interfere with man's choice of action, but does provide reaction to always bring us back home. We are not to allow people or the world's desires to control us. Why not let God do that? The super consciousness, the principle within, to have that job. Let us be led, guided, and directed by that third layer, that super consciousness. And we get that when we allow the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, when we allow it to drop down into the power that is true, the power that will never leave nor forsake us. So controlling and training our conscious mind to not criticize, to not judge wrongly, to see the good in everything, to learn the lessons when they come. And then for the subconscious, whatever has happened, whoever did it, said it, or didn't do it, to know right now that they did the best that they could. And here we still stand with the power and the Spirit of God flowing through us. And I don't mean get over it like it's light, but get over that mountain and get to the other side. When we recognize we are a vessel, a medium for God to express, we will not only be led by this superconscious fatherness to the right things and places, but we will also be able to achieve far more than the first and the second layer of consciousness ever displayed. We are at our best when spirit is our guide. Cannot reiterate enough. The mind is our most important instrument. Without it, we would not know we are even human beings. Without mind, we would not be conscious of anything. We mentally enjoy life. We mentally suffer in life. We mentally conceive an idea and we mentally realize that idea. Our ideas of how we see ourselves, each other, and the world is through our mental acceptance. With our mental capacity, we can reject anything we don't want and accept all the things that we do want. We keep our shortcomings and our joys alive in mind and then in experience with this mental capacity, this super consciousness that formed a perfect body as we were each called forth. God called each of us forth for a divine purpose. So that super consciousness that formed that perfect body and called you forth is the same super consciousness that can reconstruct the afflicted parts of the body. And not only our physical body, but the body of our affairs. When we try to figure out just on that first layer, we are like that dog that chases its tail. When we depend on the past to answer the now, we are like that dog that continues to chase its tail. But when we allow ourselves to truly go to the place where all solutions, all answers, all healings, all supply, that universal purse is, we rise above any challenge. God bless that child that has its own. For we are all endowed with that same image and likeness. No one lacking no thing other than our own mental blocks. A writer, Richard Rohr, said, if we don't transform it, we will transmute it. If we don't transform it, we will transmit. To transform is transfiguration, regeneration. It's when we awaken to a deeper awareness and understanding that we weave a perfect pattern in the consciousness through the indwelling Christ, that super consciousness. When we embody its perfection, it transforms us into its likeness. Transforming is bringing all the forces, layers of mind to the support of the Christ ideas. the unification of spirit, soul, and body into spiritual oneness. To transmit is what's going on in our world right now. It says causing something to pass on from one place to another, from one person to another. The sins and errors of the world is to know something is not in alignment with peace, love, divine right action. And to not do something about it keeps it moving from one consciousness to the next, so on and so forth. And so we know that something is not in alignment with our assignment. And Reverend Paul talks about this a lot. And so we need to make adjustments. And the adjustment has to be within mind, because we will see nothing outside of ourselves until we see it within ourselves. A generation of darkness, all the slavery and brutality that's been going on all this time, all that darkness and all that comes with it needs a consciousness of light, our super consciousness of light. We are always working with a power that accomplishes, but our work starts with conscious mind, our willingness to begin anew, to stop staring at the old, for it has passed, to stop empowering what's going on now. We need a new vision, a new light, a new word, a new course of action. Subconscious mind, our cleanup, our making peace within, believing that it all works for the good, our good. When we get that, the super consciousness of our being is then free to take over. The Holy Spirit is then revealed. Through the true believer, the door is open. The blessings, healings are free to enter. So you see, when we hold on to the old, when we want to argue and not get past the now, we block the blessings from coming in. They're right at the door of our consciousness, but all of the barriers will not let it in. But our super consciousness is superior to the ordinary modified consciousness, which is race suggestion, what we see, what we feel, and what we think we know. When we allow our spiritual awakening to bring us greater revelations from our Christ son and daughtership, when we can get over our past and our limited thinking, we will find the treasure of our beingness. For God needs and wants each of us. What if removing mental, physical, emotional limitations blesses you with spontaneous awakening to your heart's desire, your soul's call, your reason for being? Take your years of being on the earth off the table. And I mean, yes, most of our congregation is seniors, but mine knows nothing about age. It knows nothing about these limited things. If we take all of that stuff off the table, remove all of those obstacles that are man-made, God's desire for us is to succeed, to represent its presence that's within us. Thoughts, memories, emotions, restless changes in our mind clouds our intelligence, that divine knowing, and it interferes with our rational thinking. It is distractions. And that's what's going on even now, is distractions, to take our mind off of what we're supposed to do by throwing any and everything out there. No doubt that real life experiences are happening that we have no answers for. But what is it based on? news, people, civil unrest, family issues, self-conflict, man-made perspective. None of our diseases and hurts and pains, limitations, poverties, and division is of God, because that would defeat God's purpose. For God's plans for us is to locate, discover, and uncover the divine treasure within. We have tried and tried the rest. Let us truly anchor and get with the best. Super consciousness. We have and are experiencing many challenges, but God's changeless truth moves us to the desired result if we mentally allow it. No one is excluded. Our entrance to the kingdom is an open stream of consciousness, a trust that whoever I am, wherever I am, based on a new understanding that God is not only for me, but God is always with me. So I ask us, family, that we be open, that we know that miracles are possible even now while I'm speaking. For a true believer is experiencing a healing right now. Not our conscious mind thinking of healing, because we see it and then we limit it. We limit it to the body. We thinking that it has to be this way or that way. But our consciousness first has to be healed to the super consciousness in order for balance, peace, and harmony to be our experience. This teaching and our speaking is to put another dish on the buffet table of spiritual choice. We are always forever uncovering, discovering, recovering our divinity. Yes, some of us will be satisfied with whatever. Let us quit wasting time trying to change people. Just be an example. For the change has to come from within each. And it's not a trying, it's a letting and an allowing. For us to gain peace of mind, we must acknowledge peace as mind. Let us acknowledge the presence, power, and science. Are we intentional to rise, to release? Mind is waiting for our reply. Ernest Holmes says we should be able to look a discordant fact, and that includes our policing, our governing, relations, and then deny its reality. It's not a wishing it away. It's an affirming something new. It is to allow the light to shine on the darkness. LA Third Family, we have been endowed with the ability to know, to do, and to be whatever we desire. We should look a problem in the face and deny it has power over us. Our beingness is one of perfection. Matthew 5:48 said, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." So let us not put more energy on Trump and Biden, but Lord, have mercy on you and me, the people, us. Can we think and know greater outside of them? Can we think more into the power, the blessings, and the healing for us as a people and spread that? Let us not put all of our eggs in the basket of the presidency. God is greater. And let me tell you, God should be on the ballot in our consciousness. Let not your mental energy be swayed, but centered in your heart space before the heart tells the truth. We may not always be provided with the greatest opportunity, but we always have choice. There are 3 ways to live life. We can lean and depend on others, drift and take life as it comes, we can also muddle through the best that we can, or take the superior method, truly study life and its laws, apply the understanding, live life like the king and queen we are. The highest gift that life bestows is the God-life power to progress, the ability to create, change, modify, and improve life. Your mind is your tool. God is the author of all that is good. If life hurts, it is only because truth is not being used as the guiding power for our lives. We have before us infinite possibilities. Since mind is, God is, and we are, turn your pressing needs over to infinite mind. With God for you, who and what can be against you? Mind is, and this is how we use it. Peace and abundant blessings, family. I love you, and I thank you.